Welcome to Boy Time Podcast. We're gonna get litty time, yeah. Oh, it's your Boy Time Podcast. Coming in with the slam dunk of a theme song.
Hi ho ho, it's me, Dennis Lee, back at it again with a new episode of the Boy Time Podcast. And as always, I'm joined by Babby and Paul.
And Bab Jeb.
Sounds so much
I'm
more
Bab
natural.
Jeb.
Sounds better now.
Yeah. Bab Jeb hasn't been here either on streaming services. So.
Rick, it's just been you two?
It's just
Yeah.
been us.
Man, that's just a personal talk show. That's not even a pod.
Yeah.
Well, it's fine. Yeah, so I guess for those who don't know, because he hasn't been here, this podcast used to be the three of us, and then Paul had to leave because he died or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I died 4 to midnight 5 days a week. One of those being Saturdays, which is pod night. So,
Well,
yeah, it was rough resurrecting all the time, but you do what you do.
yeah, it's okay. You're here now, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, sadly, I think actually, no, I think 1 to 9 next week. I'll be here next week, maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
Stay tuned.
But for now, Paul's back.
Will be.
For I guess, this episode. So,
What episode are we even on? Number-wise, I should say.
oh, geez. I think
149?
140. Wait, I guess I can just
Oh,
look.
are we in the 40s?
So at least
143.
3.
143.
At least 5, then.
You're going to be here for 5 episodes?
No, this is episode 5 at the very least.
Oh, at the very least, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, there we go. We're back.
boy.
The original gang is back together for this very special episode. For no special reason. 143 is not a special number in any way. And we haven't really hit a milestone. It's just Paul's here now. And that's okay.
This dude.
We actually have a slam dunk episode, as always. So let's just jump right into it.
Yeah.
And, I do want to address the elephant in the room.
Oh.
We were hyping up the Super Bowl performance for weeks, and then we finally recorded the podcast after the Super Bowl happened, and we didn't talk about it.
I think we talked about it like 5 times off camera.
Yes.
And didn't talk about it on camera.
We forgot. So we're going to have to talk about it.
I forgot.
Uncle you.
So everyone who's been leaving comments,
I apologize.
it's okay. We'll talk about it now. I guess TLDR, it was pretty good. So I hope that satiates your hunger.
Okay.
But we'll go more in depth later.
In our music section.
In our music
Nice.
section, of course. We actually don't have any show news, which last week was, packed with show news. Much to my surprise, because I didn't know about Barry, but we don't have anything. We've been watching regular show as our little, I guess, detox in between Succession and The Wire, which we are going to be doing next. I think we'll be doing that for the next couple weeks, and then The Wire season 1 I think has 10 episodes, so it'll be like probably 3 or 4 weeks until the next show discussion, which is kind of
And
crazy.
Atlanta's going to be coming out in the next month. So
That's true. So
that too.
yeah, we probably won't do an episode by episode discussion. We'll
No,
probably
we'll
talk
just
about the
save it.
first one,
Yeah.
and then we'll probably wait. I don't know how Barry's gonna drop, if that's gonna be all at
True.
once or if that's gonna be weekly. Saul's gonna be weekly too, so we got a lot of stuff to figure out. But we'll burn that bridge when we get to it, I guess. But I'll jump into the very, very small, beansy little bit of movie news. We did get confirmation, I think a couple weeks ago, that Matt Reeves is going to be working on squeakquels to the Batman already. which is always a great sign whenever studios are like, we want more of this project before it comes out. I believe the last time I heard of that happening was Rian Johnson getting his own Star Wars trilogy before The Last Jedi came out.
Wow.
So this has a great track record of being good. It's really just like, I don't know if it's like a marketing ploy at this point where like the studio's like, we know it's going to be so good and you guys are going to love it. So we're going to automatically renew it for like a new trilogy. I don't know if that's what's going to be happening here, but I don't remember if I even talked about it. I might not have, because it like I wanted to wait until the movie came out to be like excited about it. But Matt Reeves did some interviews because the movie's coming out this week. That's kind of crazy to say, but it is. It's coming out this week. Next week, I'll be doing a spoiler-free discussion. Not discussion, I guess. Just, I guess, first thoughts. Because the embargo's not going to be up for spoilers. I think we'll probably wait a couple weeks for a spoiler discussion, and so that Babby can see it. Because you're not going to be seeing it opening night like me, right?
No, it's going to be sold out, and
yes,
I'll find some time where I can do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason I got tickets right away, and I just I got like
Spider-Man. You just wait a couple days and then the theaters are open.
Yeah,
for just tickets.
So just do that, but I really didn't want this thing to get spoiled for me. So I was like, I gotta go see this thing opening day. I got like not 3D. I hope it's not 3D, but it's like the cool chairs,
The dream seats.
The dream seats, whatever they're called at Marcus Theaters.
Yeah, so the lounge something, dream lounge or something.
So I splurged a little bit. So I guess hopefully that really helps my impression of the film. But we'll see next week. But back to the news. Matt Reeves has been doing some interviews since the movie's coming out, and he straight up said he doesn't want to do or include any other DC superheroes in his sequels. He said, I don't want Superman. I don't want anyone else. His quote is, I think it's enough to try to do just a Batverse. And so I think that's great. I don't want another Batman versus Superman or, Zack Snyder, bullshit. I don't want any of that. A lot of the stakes of Batman stuff is kind of ruined if you just throw a god at it, like you do with the Superman stuff, where it's like, what does the Batman do in the Justice League with just a bunch of gods and there's just a dude with a car? It's like you kind of got to give him some like smaller scale stuff, because he's a detective, and that's what's so cool about him, So I'm excited. Hopefully, I'm hoping for a trilogy. I know there's just a sequel planned, but I would love another Batman trilogy, similar to the Dark Knight one. So we'll just have to see. I also, we'll see. Trilogies are the new hot thing. Spider-Man.
The Weeknd.
The Weeknd. The Hobbit. That's not really recent.
Hot right now.
Yeah, really hot. He just did the Planet of the Apes trilogy, so it's not too out of the realm. He could be doing a new Batman trilogy. Who knows? I also saw. We know that I think the Penguin from that movie is getting an HBO Max spinoff, a la Peacemaker show, on HBO Max, and they're trying to make it R. I don't know. I saw Colin Farrell did an interview, probably the hottest man ever, who is also playing the Penguin, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna try to really push it and see if we can make it R since it's gonna be on HBO Max." Which I know, like, some people are like really excited about that. I don't care if it's R or PG-13 or whatever, like, as long as it's a good story. So, I don't know. I haven't seen Peacemaker. I saw the first episode of Peacemaker and I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I saw the first episode too, and I'm like,
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. I've heard there's some crazy stuff later, like the finale got people talking, and it was renewed for a second season. So, who knows, maybe it's good. I might watch it later. But I'm trying to watch Atlanta and Saul before
For sure.
those, or at least just the last seasons before those new stuff comes out later next month. Well, I guess technically, yes, it is next month because this podcast is going to come up on the 28th of February. So literally the last day. So technically I can't say this month, but that's fine. And then we have some gaming news. Gaming. This is everyone's favorite segment of the podcast.
I missed this one.
I know. Everybody loves gaming. All of our comments are just say, you should talk about gaming more because we don't do it enough. So, gonna satiate your gaming lust. First off, I don't know if we should address the Elden Ring in the room. The elephant, Elden Fint. That doesn't really work.
I don't think we need to.
No. Okay, so I guess I should probably do a little bit of a forward. I have not played much of Elden Ring.
Yikes.
I know. Very
I
disappointing.
played 40 hours yet.
No, I have played 2 hours and 6 minutes, or 2.6 hours.
A week.
And I refunded it.
Wow.
Oh.
Hot take.
Not because it's bad.
No, it's just performance.
Not because it's bad. I did this intentionally. I knew I was going to play it for around 2 hours and then refund it. I already pre-ordered it through GameStop, and for some reason the GameStop near me did not have it so that I could pick it up. So unfortunately I had to get it shipped, which never ever is a good idea. But I was like, I probably don't need to play this thing day one, so it'll be fine if it comes in like a week late. So far, it's saying it's going to get here on March 9th, which is 2 weeks away. And I'm like, I should probably talk about it on the podcast before then.
So Last of Us 2 Best Buy pre-order situation.
Yes, but this time it like
L's every time.
Yes, I know. I kind of knew this was going to happen though. I figured last time when I did Last of Us 2, I did it through Walmart, which that was a bad thing. GameStop said it was going to be coming out around the release date. The carrier hasn't even picked up my package yet, so I don't know. They keep pushing it back every day because they haven't picked it up yet. So we'll see when I get it. But I did buy it on Steam. All 47 gigabytes. This is a Mondo game. Reviews have been coming in. It's insanely well received. I think it's the highest rated thing on OpenCritic, which is like Metacritic, but just for games. So yeah, kind of crazy because I don't know what it would have had to be, probably Breath of the Wild or something. Which there have been a lot of comparisons to Breath of the Wild, obviously, because it's an open world game, and every open world game tries to be Breath of the Wild. From what I played, it's actually pretty decent. I mean, I do need to address the PC port is pretty bad as it stands right now. They released a statement yesterday. Which doesn't show up because I refunded it. Let me see if I can find it. I can't find their statement because I refunded the game, so it's no longer in my games library. But it was basically like, we know that the PC port is bad. Believe me, it was worse before the day one patch. Basically, that was the TLDR. So they're going to be working on it. So the console version of it, like from what I can tell, is actually like really good. It's just the PC port that's kind of rough
I
right
feel like
now.
that's typical nowadays,
It is.
especially with games of this scale. It's always performance stuff and everything.
It's so weird because like I the recommended specs are like basically my old setup before I just got my new graphics card and stuff, and I was able to run Sekiro like perfectly 60 FPS, which was their last game, and I'm like, oh well, this is basically the same thing, like graphics wise. I'm not really worried, and my performance wasn't bad. It wasn't like the worst. It wasn't like Cyberpunk or anything. I just noticed like in boss fights, my frames would dip to be like, like maybe 20 to 15,
That's what you need.
which is really bad.
Yeah, the game's already hard enough.
Yeah, that was the thing where it's like I can beat like most like these From Software stuff, but I can't beat bosses when the frames dip that low. Because I'm not able to read their telegraphs and stuff. So that was the only downside. The majority of my time I didn't beat the first boss because I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna go out and explore the open world. And the open world is actually like really cool. Like the story, the cutscene that they play before you start, it reeks of Final Fantasy. Oh, I need to find the MacGuffin because these elder rings are broken and this specific race, and then you just start off and it's a Dark Souls game. And so it's like, why'd you get George R.R. Martin to write? It doesn't matter.
I'm sure it expands eventually.
It probably does. But as someone who doesn't like that style of like fantasy, where it's like, I guess maybe like higher fantasy.
High fantasy. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Where I like stuff to be a little bit more grounded. Like Lord of the Rings has some fantasy stuff, but for the most part, it's just some dudes trying to return a ring, and the threats are very real, like swords and bows and stuff like that. But when it's like this and it's so heady, I really do not like grasp onto that at all.
You mean you can't fully take in lore while also trying to beat insanely hard bosses that you need to calculate all their movements for?
True.
Yeah, it's bad at the game.
Kind of weird.
That's why he doesn't like it.
I'm usually good at these games. Sekiro also didn't really have a really good story, but it's still one of my favorite games ever because the gameplay rocks. And I think that's gonna be like that's the case with every From Software game. In my opinion, there's gonna be the guys who go into the lore and be like, actually the story's really good if you read all of the codexes. And it's like, I'm not gonna do that, you coward. It's fine. I just skip the cutscenes and fight the bosses, and it's fun. So we'll see. But I did enjoy the combat. There's actually like, I didn't expect there to be stealth options, and there isn't really to the extent of Sekiro, where like that game is the stealth Dark Souls game. This just feels like Dark Souls, but you can crouch now. So they added that from Sekiro. And apparently there's crafting. You might need to beat the first boss to get it. Because I was picking up a bunch of materials. And I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. When am I going to be able to, do stuff with it? And in my 2.5 hours of playtime, I did not unlock crafting. So
Dang.
unfortunate. I'll let you guys know in 3 weeks when I finally unlock crafting.
I hear crafting is like the best mechanic literally in the game too. Wow, you really missed out.
I'm sure it is. Crafting was my favorite part of Breath of the Wild too, except I hardly ever did it, and I just made the super OP.
I feel like that's most games. I never craft anything.
I know. But it's always like really ingrained and important where it's like you should be crafting, but I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
It's never interesting.
Yeah, I just want to hit things.
Make it like at most 2 button hits the craft. Otherwise, it starts getting way too complicated.
If you gotta go like through the main menu, then go over to the other crafting menu, and then your materials menu is separate, and it's like the whole thing. Minecraft perfected crafting.
Yeah, because it's so simple.
Yeah.
I like it when it's like that, you know, and the effects of the crafting are so like concrete, where it isn't just like increase stats. Where it's like that's boring. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna get good at the game.
Plus 0.1 damage. Let's go.
Yeah, I know.
I can outbeat boss.
I guess the cool thing about crafting in Breath of the Wild is that like you could like craft meals that would allow you to explore new areas. So
Yeah,
like,
those are cool.
that's a cool twist where it actually kind of really incentivizes you to experiment and you know, try to find the right recipe for the right location that you're in. So I do like that, but hard to say
Pokemon
what
actually did
crafting's
that
like.
as well, which is weird.
Wait, what was that?
Pokemon actually did that too,
Oh, okay.
which is strange.
Good on you, Pokemon Company.
Yeah,
Pokemans.
for once in your life.
Yeah, so I don't know what crafting's like in Elden Ring. I know it's a thing. I hope it's a little bit good, but you know, probably not, because it is. This game is Dark Souls. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
It's literally Dark Souls.
It really is. It's Dark Souls with a horse, and it's open world now, which is really disappointing to me, as someone who really enjoys Sekiro, which is like Dark Souls, but it's really distinct in its combat. This game, it's the exact same combat from Dark Souls and Bloodborne, and it has a lot of the weird. Like, I'm probably gonna piss off a bunch of From Software boys, but like the RPG stuff in Dark Souls and Bloodborne is the stuff that I least like. Like, I could care less about like grinding the same enemies for like 10 lives just trying to up my like endurance stat so I can hold more things so I'm not fat rolling. And it's like, that stuff is boring and tedious and nobody likes doing it, and if you say you like doing it, then you're a liar. And that's why Sekiro
Okay,
is so
I get
great.
something.
Okay.
So how about you like doing it for like the first 20 minutes because it actually feels
That's
like it
how I
makes a
am.
difference.
Yeah.
But then later on when it's like stats already like 300 or something, it's like I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I got OP move, that's all I need.
Yeah, I do like it. Like,
Yeah.
the first like 2 hours of every From Software game is like great. You know, you're unlocking like new clothes, and the clothes actually like really increase your armor, and they also look cool. I guess that's more just the Bloodborne. And it's like, okay, it's so cool. I'm unlocking all these new things, and then it just like absolutely grinds to a halt when you have to stop and replay areas, and then you die, and then on your way to pick up your souls, you die and lose like an hour of progress, and it's like, that's bullshit. That really sucks. Again, I keep going back to Sekiro, but I think Sekiro is probably the best From Software game because it eliminates all of that. The only thing that you like gain are like skills, like skill points, and like they help, but they aren't like the end all be all. If you don't unlock a certain skill by the time you get to the final boss, that's fine. Like, you can beat the final boss having absolutely zero skills in the skill tree and just being really good at parrying and like knowing when to attack and stuff. But in Dark Souls, you have to grind levels, and you have to like smith your armor and like get the right weapons and try to like make sure that everything is in like that peak performance. And I know that there are some RPG guys out there that absolutely love the minutia and the numbers and the like getting all that stuff to be perfect so that they can like run through a thing and just like slide through all of these insanely hard bosses and stuff. But that is the stuff that absolutely kills all these games for me. And that seems to
Pokemon,
be, well, yeah, I don't
Well,
like.
I like doing that in
PvP
Pokemon, but
Pokemon.
literally nothing else. Yeah, like competitive Pokemon, I'll nerd out for like a little bit, but then as soon as you get to like breeding for EVs and stuff, I'm out. So I
Second-
feel like there's a limit on this stuff.
The
go
second
so
that you build up like an actually good like EV IV team, and then you go on competitive, and some guy with just some like
Get
a
rolled by your
Salamence
dragon.
to Charizard in like a Rayquaza or something.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the same thing.
That's the stuff that I do not like. And I don't usually like when I've played a Pokemon game, I don't care about the stats at all. I just want to have cute animals fight.
No, yeah, when you play a mainstream
Yeah.
Pokemon game, it's literally like easy mode. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, maybe I should give one of those a shot one day. So
They are fun.
I played Y and I liked Y. It was
Why
fun.
though?
I don't know. Someone gave
Oh
it
my
to me.
God.
I didn't buy it. Someone's just like, I got an extra copy of Y. You want it? I'm like, yeah, sure, I guess.
How does one get an extra copy of wine?
I don't know. I have no idea. I
Mm.
didn't ask questions. I just took the free game, which is how you should act, I think.
True.
So we'll see. Give it a couple weeks. I'll give my other first impressions of the game. I think I also probably picked the bad class. I picked just like the basic knight class.
Yikes.
Thinking-
Samurai?
I didn't pick the samurai because I'm like, is this just going to be Sekiro? I want to see like what, Elden Ring is. So I picked the vagabond, which has a cool cape. That was my deciding factor.
You should have chose the prisoner with like the freaking weird hat.
The
on his head.
the prison, yeah.
Yeah.
The classes are really cool. Like each
Yeah.
one feels distinct, which is really cool because Dark Souls does not
Lot of
have distinct classes.
Mhm.
And I don't think Bloodborne had classes. You could just pick your starting weapons, and I think that was the only distinction. And Sekiro, you just are a guy, and you can't change your armor or weapons at all, which is the right way to do it, in my opinion. But I guess that does limit digital dress up, which is always my favorite part of every game.
Exactly.
So maybe just add cosmetics and not have it affect stats.
It's
but-
doable.
That's the absolute like dummy casual talking because I think their core audience absolutely loves this stuff and I am in the minority. So
I was surprised to see all the class types, and they looked very intricate. So it looked kind of cool.
it's very different. I mean that part is actually cool because in Dark Souls like there's your melee classes and there are your magic classes, and if you pick a magic class you are stupid. You have to pick a melee class because it's the only way to play it. And like there are some like mixed ones. Like in Dark Souls 3, I know there's like Pyromancer, which is like you have a sword, but you also have some flame spells in your offhand. And like that's kind of the extent of how different everything is. But like you have like different starting levels based on what class you pick in Elden Ring. And if you pick the Wretch, you start at level 1 instead of like level 10. I think the Vagabond started at maybe it was 8. I don't remember. But I would be interested to maybe try a Wretch run one of these days. I haven't done that in any of the Dark Souls games because that's like the staple. There's always like I think like in Dark Souls it's called like the Damned or the Deserted or something. I don't know. But they added it in Elden Ring, and you just get a club and you're naked. It's kind of funny. Well, almost naked, because the game's not M, except it is, but I guess they didn't want to do that.
So is the mod out to actually make him naked out yet?
I'm sure.
I don't know.
Probably
know.
somewhere.
I hope so. But I'm not going to be able to do it, because I will be playing on the PlayStation. So,
Dang.
I know, very unfortunate. Unless they do
Okay,
add that
well.
as DLC. I can't see Sony greenlighting that, but who knows?
Bringing our fan-made noob character mod to the game.
For $15.
For $15.
A small something.
You would think. I don't know if Sony would do that, though, unfortunately.
You know, at least
Microsoft is a
1,000
little bit
people
more
would
rock
buy
and
it.
roll.
If something like that came out, 1,000 people at least would buy it. And
Oh, for
only
sure.
800 of those would be because of a joke.
Oh, yeah. No, there's going to be some perverted boys.
There's a reason why there is a nude mod for every game that has mods.
Yes, of course. And the only one that's funny is Skyrim.
That was like the OG game that did it. I think.
Yeah.
Probably.
So that's it. That's all I have to say about Elden Ring because I haven't played a whole lot of it. But
Nice.
people say it's pretty good, so probably
pretty
take
good.
their word for it. But we do have some tertiary gaming news. Lego Star Wars officially gone gold this week.
Oh,
So the delays, it's actually coming out in about a month, I guess,
Yes,
of this
dude.
podcast, April 5th. So just around the corner. So I guess it's official. It's actually happening. So that's pretty exciting. And then the other bit of gaming news actually happened today, as of us recording it. Gabe Newell did a little bit of an interview. Nothing big announced, but he expressed interest in bringing Xbox Game Pass to Steam. So instead of going through the Xbox launcher, you'd be going through Steam.
That would be so good.
That would be great.
So good.
Yeah, I think the question specifically was, is Valve planning on making some sort of Game Pass to
Yeah, I saw
compete with Xbox? And Gabe said, nope, but we are we are looking into getting Xbox Game Pass, or I think they said PC Game Pass to be specific. But
What would
they're
be in a Steam Game Pass, like the same 10 games and then like an entire hentai section?
yeah, it would be all of the Valve games and then Sex with Hitler, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. Which is all the best. I don't know. I think they are running into the same problem we are, thinking of what games would be in a Steam Game Pass. So they're like, Microsoft seems to have it figured
I
out.
feel like that'd be a publishing nightmare too,
Oh, for sure.
because they're not like a publisher; they're just a game platform.
Well, they used to be a publisher.
They used to be, but nobody's gonna pay for a Game Pass of games that are 12 years old.
Yeah. Get Steam Game Pass so you can play Half-Life 2 Part 1.
Play half of our catalog that's already free to play.
That's right. Play Team
Yeah.
Fortress 2.
They're not updating it. So you can play it.
You can play it. It's already free, but pay us $15 a month. And
We'll
nothing.
send you a nice letter.
Yeah. And that's actually it in terms of gaming stuff. Except Paul's here. And I wanted to ask
am.
him about Total War Warhammer 3, which has mixed reviews
Yes,
on
dude.
Steam. Crazy
So
stuff.
I looked it up real quick, and I do remember what happened. So basically, who is it? Creative Assembly, Creative Assembly, the developer. So especially like after the Three Kingdoms game, where they started going into like the Chinese audience, and like they got a lot of Chinese audience from it.
Oh,
And so they were like, "Hey, they don't know about our Warhammer games. Let's give some Chinese streamers some keys." And so, believe it or not, no one at Creative Assembly, I guess, knew good Total War Chinese streamers. So they just randomly handed out keys, and it ended up causing accidental leaks, non-accidental leaks, and just random, almost non just random Chinese people getting free keys for it on Twitch and playing it when like really big actual Chinese streamers that might have wanted it weren't getting it. And so I think I saw something 72% or so. Where is it? 72% of reviews written in Chinese were negative.
oh, okay.
That's a big PR
Yeah.
fail.
A big PR
Yeah.
nightmare. It
So
also looks like
basically-
there's some optimization issues just looking through
Yeah.
the negative reviews.
Yeah, I haven't had any issues personally, but I do have a fairly beefy computer. But I'm guessing if you are near it's kind of the same with most Total War games, but if you're near recommended, even slightly above, you'll still have to like decrease graphics and stuff a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want like straight 60 FPS, even there are slight times where sometimes FPS will drop, but I get pretty straight, like, I don't know about 60, I haven't checked, but it's not an issue for me.
Okay.
So I think it's just people complaining that their computers are not good enough for a new game that has like thousands of little men running around killing each other, and they're complaining their CPU can't handle it. I don't know.
Why can't my 7-year-old 960 handle this brand new video game?
Let me see what the recommended specs are for it.
I'd imagine everything's at least 10 series for GPU at this point.
Yeah.
Processor is an i5 and GPU is a 1660 Ti. That's for recommended.
Really?
No way can you
Okay.
get. You
Yeah.
might be able to scratch off high settings with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not high at all. Okay.
Yeah. So that's probably another part of that, but it honestly is a pretty good game. Launch was pretty smooth, probably because they let a bunch of streamers, YouTubers, and all that have it like a month early and kept getting feedback from that.
Mhm.
That's one thing Creative Assembly does pretty well. They always give keys like a month early, and then they slowly lift embargoes 2 weeks before release. They really hype it up, and then on release day, everything just goes crazy.
Well,
that's one
good.
thing I like that they do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So, you're saying that the game is good.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's a worthy successor of the second game.
Okay. So, all those people leaving negative comments can just die. I hate
Even
them.
though they're probably 70% Chinese that won't ever even
They're
be able to
probably
understand
valid.
us.
Yeah.
I'll have you know that our podcast is not shown in China.
Frick.
I don't. Well, I mean, it defaulted to that on Apple
Yeah, I'm
Podcasts,
sure.
so I left it
Defaults
off.
to that?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, you probably get claimed like pretty legally.
you
for
would
that.
probably. I mean, we would probably get kicked off for saying that the
Yeah.
ending of Fight Club, the building blows up.
I feel like you'd get banned just for saying something in passing that like wouldn't be under their code. I don't know how their censorship.
Let's see how it works. I don't much care for the Chinese government. Okay, now
we're
we'll see
already
if
done.
let's see if this episode gets taken down by Spotify or whatever.
Dude, we're on Spotify?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Dude, I didn't know that. Was that recent?
Since you've been gone, my favorite Kelly Clarkson song. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, we're on everything. Anywhere where podcasts are sold. So,
Plug in our own show.
I know.
Let's go.
Well, some people still watch us on YouTube, so
True.
move over if you haven't, or stay here. I don't care.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, that's it for gaming. Let's do onto the music section.
Dude.
Should we just start with the Super Bowl? So
Yeah,
don't
we can
forget it
talk
again?
about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because otherwise I'll forget it again.
Okay.
When was the Super Bowl? Was that? that was 2
February
weeks ago.
18th.
No.
No, February 13th.
Yes. That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Halftime show. I thought it was very good. I don't
Yes.
know. I would put it pretty high in recent years. I think the Weeknd's matches this one, if not a little bit better than this one.
I think the weekend is better.
I
But
think
but
my
he
main
had like a
complaint-
whole stadium and it was
Yeah,
a
my
big
main
show.
complaint is that there was too many artists.
Yeah.
And too little time. I think they should have gave more time.
Yes, I agree.
But stage design and everything really cool. The cameras freaked me out because they looked really weird. They looked like it was fake almost.
The cameras freaked
Whatever
you
they
out?
were doing with those cameras,
Oh.
it was weird. It's like everything had. There was like a rack focus, but the background still had the same like frame rate as everything else, and it was very smooth and it looked really weird.
Oh. I haven't gone
was like a
back and
video game.
watched it since it was
Yeah,
live.
I just remembering it was like really weird to look at.
Oh.
But I think Snoop Dogg was the main highlight for me.
Yes,
That-
I would agree.
That man kills it.
He's still got
I don't
it.
know how he raps like this still. He's still got it.
Because he's high.
He's just like so nonchalant
Just
about
chilling
it. Too.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does his whole verse, great breath control,
Mm-hmm.
like without even skipping a beat.
And he's
Great
still like
stuff there.
bopping out. He's like
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
groovy. Yeah, I love
Crazy
Snoop.
stuff.
Yeah.
But did pretty good. I think 50 Cent got a little bit too much time.
I would
just
agree.
like when you market like the main 5 as your thing, and then have 50 Cent have more of a portion than Eminem
Yeah.
and Kendrick Lamar. It's kind
Yeah.
of strange.
It was a weird choice.
Yeah, I don't know why that decision was made, but I enjoyed 50's performance. I think
I
he did
did
well.
too.
He sounded a little winded, but he was also hanging
He was
upside down.
upside down.
So I'm not gonna put that against him.
I would say that maybe if you are gonna like have some surprise guests, then like maybe split 50's time between him and Anderson, because Anderson's just there.
Yeah,
He doesn't
or
really do
like if you're
anything.
gonna do that and have surprise guests, I would have them rather like be in songs that they're featured on,
True.
because
Yeah,
then
that's
like
a good point.
that's a nice tie-in there instead of just having their own block of time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's why like I'm surprised they didn't do Compton,
Oh yeah,
Good Kid, because that would have been a good tie-in there.
and it would have been
There just
good
wasn't
to
a lot of
represent
interplay
West Coast.
besides, yeah,
Yeah,
there just wasn't a lot of interplay. Like when you have Dr. Dre and Snoop, that was like kind of the only
yeah,
like
it was still Dre.
intermingling of trading verses, which was great.
I did like that. Yeah,
But I would have liked to see more, since a lot of those artists have songs with each other. I think all of those artists on stage have songs with each other.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I
Dre's
think,
like with all of them.
every single person on that stage. So I'm looking at Kendrick specifically. He has a feature from every single person that was on that stage minus 50 Cent. That includes Anderson .Paak and Eminem
Yeah.
and Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Mary J. Blige.
What was on
So,
Mary? What was Mary J. Blige on?
She's on a Good Kid, Mad City bonus track,
Oh, right.
which I'm surprised they didn't do, because that song is completely clean. So you could have just performed that without having to make a clean version of it,
That's true.
which is a little strange. But
And-
it's also not a very popular song, so I can see
No.
why they didn't do that.
Well, he did a Untitled song, didn't he?
He like flipped an Untitled flow and did like a freestyle, which was really cool.
Yeah.
I like the use of the Mad City. I thought he was just going to do Humble and that's it. So I was definitely a lot more surprised and happy that he started with Mad City.
Yeah.
Went into All Right. All Right was pretty great.
They made him censor Popo.
They did make him censor Popo.
Or he just really conveniently decided to take a break or a breath right there.
No, I think NFL's like, cut that one.
Well, they didn't want Eminem to kneel, so I would see why they would be like, don't say
Yeah.
Popo.
Yeah, but like Eminem kneeling, you can't cut off of screens. Like, you can easily censor a line if it goes
Yeah,
through.
that's
'Cause
true.
it's on
I
television.
I didn't even notice Eminem kneeling. I was too focused on Dre playing the piano.
Yeah, that. I didn't notice it either. But,
Yeah.
I mean, Eminem does stuff like that. And,
Yeah.
good on him.
Good for Eminem.
I do think Eminem had the worst performance. I
mean, it was
there's
fine.
just something about it. It was okay, but like compared to everybody else, he didn't do his whole verse. He had to take a lot of breaths. Coming from the supposed rap god, he didn't have very good breath control,
Well,
and he
yeah.
wasn't even really dancing or anything. He just had his hoodie on, looking like the same person every single time he's out on camera.
Looking
past
like
10
8
years.
Mile. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just wasn't very impressed by Eminem, even though he was playing the hits.
Yeah. Which is surprising because Dre is the
is.
worst performer, I think. Of
I
those
think he did
five.
pretty well.
No,
his
just in
voice was
general.
so good live. In general, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Although
But
I don't
know.
really
I think
like
I go
Eminem
Snoop
either.
and then Kendrick and then
Yes.
Mary J. Blige if I'm going in terms of like who I like the best.
Yeah. I think,
But
yeah.
I don't know. I liked it overall.
No, I did too. I went back and watched the Weekend one because I hadn't seen the Weekend one before the Super Bowl. And I was like, I should probably watch it because I really like the Weekend and I don't really have a reason for not seeing it. And I was like, wow, that was really cool. But but I don't know if
Yeah, the
we're ever
benefit
gonna
of
get
having a whole
anything
stadium,
like that
too.
again. Yeah. 'Cause
Probably not, just because it was the COVID year. So
Yeah,
like
the
empty
whole stadium.
You get the whole stadium. He's got the stands like in its own thing. He was in his after hours mode, so we had all of it themed, and it was really really great.
Yeah, it was great.
But this one's still pretty good. I really like this one. I'm interested to see what they do after this.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it was nice because this one was in LA, so you get all the West Coast people and Eminem.
Plus Eminem, plus 50 Cent.
Plus, oh yeah, well, mostly West Coast
Yeah.
people. But isn't this next one in Minnesota?
I think so.
So it's like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna get Prince?
I've lost track of like where it's going. But this is like the only time they've done like a let's get artists from the city.
That's true.
I think
do
they just
like
chose it
that,
for LA
though.
because there's so many artists from LA.
I like that idea though of getting artists
Yeah.
from the city. Like with Atlanta, get Andre.
Well, Atlanta, you can get literally. You could do the same thing in Atlanta and have like 100 people,
Yeah, that's true.
and they would all be great. But yeah, I'm interested to see. I don't think they'll do hip hop again, just knowing the NFL.
No, probably not.
But we'll see.
Where's the next? Let me see. Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas.
Oh, Silk Sonic
wait.
residency
Wait,
performance.
this is 2024, or will 2023 be? Arizona. State
Arizona.
Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, no, I don't know what you do there.
They'll figure it out. I'm guessing it's not going to be hip hop though. We'll see where they take it.
It'll probably be Adele.
I don't know if you. It's so weird. The hype is sports event, and you just get some adult songs,
Yeah, I don't
which
know.
would be good. But like,
It would be
doesn't fit
good.
at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
We'll see what they do.
We'll see when it's announced 6 months from now.
Yeah, good show. I think Super Bowl's got a good track record of performances the past couple of years here.
Yeah, recently here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
It was
they
a
they
big
they
slump for a
did a
while.
big nosedive with
Yeah.
Maroon 5 and Travis Scott.
Yeah, that was a low point.
And then it was like the one with J Lo and Shakira was fine, but it wasn't like
I like
crazy.
that one. It was definitely a huge like uptick compared to
I
the
mean,
last year.
compared to the last one, yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
And then you have a weekend.
then
in
you
this
have the
one,
weekend
So like
in
the
this
bar is pretty high now.
yeah, they're gonna have to bring in like someone crazy, like
I feel like I
Michael
don't know.
Jackson hologram.
Michael Jackson and Tupac hologram.
That would be
battle.
so sick.
Be so cool.
I'm surprised they didn't bring Tupac hologram to this Super Bowl.
I was expecting it.
You were?
Yeah.
If they're gonna do surprise Tupac.
I mean, They did California Love, which is a Tupac song.
That's
I'm like,
true.
oh, where
They did
were
do
like,
that.
okay.
It made me like second guess. I'm like, wait, this is a Tupac song, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why are they doing it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
We'll see.
Good show. Jolly good show.
Good job. I liked it. Okay. Where do I start this week? I have a lot of things.
Talk about Donda 2.
Do you want to start there? Okay. we
I
can
don't
start
know.
There.
This is the only thing I know you're gonna talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, let's start with Donda 2. Okay, yeah, that'll be a good upswing after us. Okay.
I do have to
Donda
talk
2.
about Weekend too. I don't know where you want to put that. Sequence
We
that.
can put
how
that-
well.
After this,
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, Donda 2, the quote unquote experience, I think is what he called it. It was on Tuesday, the 22nd of February.
22222.
Tuesday, if you will.
Yeah.
It was. I really liked the stage direction. First off, they took the Donda house, post burning, so it's all charred and stuff. They had actual like fire effects coming out of the windows and stuff. Looked really really cool.
That's pretty epic.
And then surrounding it was like a shallow pool of like water, so you'd have like the water reflections and stuff. So I think I like the stage setup more than the Chicago one. It looked very cool.
Yeah.
That's probably why he's been wearing those freaking boots that go up to your knees, the waterproof boots. It's like I can go through this little bit of water and not get wet.
Yeah, probably.
Show started 2.5 hours late, so typical.
Typical.
Songs are not finished. Some of them
Typical.
sounded more done than others, but he went with all the features are finalized routes, and I don't have my verses laid out route. So
Oh.
there was some mumbling,
Okay.
which we saw at listening party one for
Yeah.
Donda. But I think production-wise and stuff, I'm liking it. It's just not there yet, and I'm not seeing the vision at all here.
Who's he got on it?
We got Migos, we got Baby Keem, we got Playboy Cardi, we got Future 3 times,
Oh, good.
XXX Tentacion twice.
Oh, wow.
Both pretty good features. They dug up some really
dug
good
up.
demos.
It's probably from his last posthumous record.
I don't know at this point. The family's been milking them constantly. I
don't
don't know
know.
how Kanye found 2 that haven't been used yet in
That's
pretty good
kinda-
condition.
Kind of crazy.
But they sounded good. What else we got? Don Tolliver's back. The bootleg I downloaded don't have features listed, so this is hard to go off of. But there's some interesting samples, but I'll talk about that once we get to the actual music portion. But performance was going well, or the listening party was going well, I should say. He included Easy, Diet Coke, and City of Gods in the listening party portion, which is a game song, a Pusha T song, and a 5 Foreign song. So I don't know why he thought he needed to fill space by playing those songs that he produced, but
He
whatever.
had to fill time.
Yeah, because the album obviously wasn't done. There's supposed to be 22 tracks, and he played 16, and then filled it with other features.
Yeah.
I don't know why he needed to fill time. It's his own performance. But then the concert portion of Donda 1 started, which might be the worst thing I've ever heard.
Really?
And it was hilarious and sad at the same time. Audio engineers majorly messed that up, big time. It was working fine for a while. Oh yeah, Jack Harlow is another feature, because Jack Harlow was rapping his verse.
Right.
Most other feature artists just came on and like kind of let the song play.
Yeah.
Jack Harlow rapped over his and did pretty well. But that went downhill. I think ear monitors were like off beat. I don't know what happened in that engineering room, but I don't know how you could mess up that bad. But I think the most hilarious part of it is like having Jail start and having Marilyn Manson, the baby, come out, and then just like having your entire set just crumble before your eyes. It was both the best and worst thing possible. And the best is like it's like instant karma as soon as Marilyn Manson comes out and you do the whole stupid PR stunt again. It just completely collapses.
So that wasn't in like the house wasn't supposed to fall down?
No, the house was fine. It's just everything else fell apart. They came out, the beat was going, the ear monitors were completely messed off, so everybody was off beat, and eventually stopped. I don't know if they were running this thing on a stem player, because DaBaby's verse was off beat. Like, the recorded verse was off beat.
Huh.
Which I don't know how that happens. I don't know why you're isolating tracks like that during a live performance. I feel like if you have a backtracking going, you can control that easily, but I don't know how you even make that offbeat. It sounded really horrible. It was really funny. So they were all just standing there awkwardly because nothing was working. And the instrumental was just playing, and Marilyn Manson's ad-libs for the chorus would play every once in a while, and that was it. And they were just standing there. So they kept sprinkling in new songs with like performances of Donda 1 songs, and all the Donda 1 songs were horrible. Because nobody like had their earpieces synced up, and I don't know why they didn't just decide to play like the recordings of it instead of like keep trying to perform and fail these things. It was really awful, but also funny. So, it was really strange. But the show ended early. I don't know if it was early. Kanye just kind of threw his mic off and ran away. Probably because he was mad that his audio engineers like bombed his whole set.
Probably.
Which I would be too, because that's pretty embarrassing when you have like one of the best set designs, and then that just happens. It makes you look like an absolute clown more than you already look like a clown. But it ended with Off the Grid, like the big finale, and it completely flopped. But Playboy Cardi came out there screaming in Joker makeup, and that was
really?
Yeah.
I need to look up a picture of
He
this.
got his Jeff Hardy Joker cosplay on, killing it, just screaming, randomly, it seems. And then that was it. So I think like the listening party part went fine, and then it just kind of collapsed when it went to the concert performance.
Yeah.
Which I have to question why you even need a Donda 1 concert performance like attached to your listening party. Like, why even do that? We've already heard this 3 times in different listening parties. We don't need to hear you perform, and especially after you did that concert with Drake and like you performed physically there, like actually doing verses and stuff, and that turned out fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't see the need to do it here. Especially like sprinkling a new material randomly against Donda 1 material, so you would go from doing a concert portion to like back into a listening party. It made no sense.
Oh, that's weird.
It felt rushed. everybody kind of looked like they didn't really know what was happening. So probably like it's not as it wasn't a good listening party in general.
Oh.
But the album did come out.
Oh, it did?
It did.
How
He
have I not
uploaded
heard
it to the
about
STEM
this?
Player site. He uploaded 4 songs first,
Oh.
and then the rest of them started pouring in like 24 hours later. So there's 16 tracks.
Okay.
These are the same ones as the listening party. So there's a lot of mumble, a lot of unfinished
Oh, no.
verses. I think he just did this so he didn't get sued for telling people to buy a STEM Player to listen to the album. That's my main hypothesis. Even though I know what his plan is, this is what he wanted to do with Donda One. Is he wanted to upload the versions to the STEM Player and then update them on the next listening party with the new versions, and then update them again until he's happy with them. That's what his plan's been probably since 2016. That's probably why the STEM Player exists to begin with. Besides like it being very innovative and easy for people to rip stems and create new things with it. I think this was his whole vision with this. But your vision kind of collapses if the music isn't good.
Yes.
And like even with Donda 1, after listening party 1, I could see the vision there. I could see track listing working very well. I could see a thematic story. I could see like, okay, this can be improved upon a lot, and I'm gonna really like it when it's done. And I did. It felt like an actual journey. This feels like you're just uploading half-finished demos just so you don't get like persecuted for making people buy a $200 Tamagotchi to play your album that is like hardly finished.
He's
but-
definitely going in his Joker arc.
He's in a divorced dad Joker arc.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make for the best music as of this point.
No.
But there are highlights. There's the beats are really cool. The album starts very ambient and kind of experimental. It's very kind of Dawn FM-ish, where it's very drawn out with these kind of dance-like beats almost. Very airy, which I like. But then track listing makes 0 sense after track 3. It goes into like a really weird trap song, and then back into like this kind of like depressing, drawn out like synth heavy stuff, and then back into like just a really hard hitting trap song. The sequencing makes absolutely 0 sense. I don't understand how this is even a Donda album. There's no mention of any of that. I feel like he's just calling it Donda 2 because it fits the same kind of styling as the first one, like production wise. But I don't understand making a sequel to your mom's album and then having it be 0% about your mom and 50% about your divorce and how much you hate Pete Davidson. I don't understand. It's really strange. Dude's going through like a high school level breakup mentality. It's really strange.
Kanye sucks.
Yeah. Features outperforming on pretty much every track. Yeah, I'll say every track, I think. City of Gods is on the album, which is weird since it's a 5 year song, and Kanye even mentions in his feature that like this is the feature of the year.
Yeah.
Just, like, insinuating that it's not his song. But it's on the album for some reason. It fits like the Donda aesthetic, I guess. But Flowers was really good. Security is really good. It's got like a comically evil beat that I really like. It's just like one of those villain themes that are just so over the top. That's the divorced dad like anger stuff I wanted right there. And that one worked well. It's ridiculous. It's like he's his style over the top and like kind of funny, but also like mad. That's what I wanted. But
yeah,
I don't know. There's definitely hope for this. I'm not seeing how you fix this sequencing wise or how you make like a compelling story or narrative out of this. I'm sure he'll find a way possibly, but in his headspace right now, I'm not seeing how this project even becomes one that like can even stand next to the original Donda, since that is one of his best albums in like past, I don't know, 10 years. But he also did some weird samples, which are kind of funny and also head scratching. He sampled Kamala Harris saying, "We did it, Joe."
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, that was interesting. I like that song too. And then they I don't know, that sample's really weird. He also sampled Kim Kardashian on the song where he talks about the divorce, which is like you don't need to do that. I understand what the song is about, and that is one of the best songs, but I wish he'd take that sample off because it just feels tacky.
Yeah, that's lame.
Like you're overselling it. I already know what the song's about. I mean, anybody with ears will know what the song is about. He also did a George Clinton sample on "Keep It Burning," which wasn't in the listening party, but I do like that song. It's very unfinished. That's why I wasn't in the listening party. It's like incredibly bare bones, but that's one that gave me like an original Donda feeling, where I'm like, with a little bit more work, this song's gonna be absolutely amazing. But he used the George Clinton sample that I think Flying Lotus used the same sample on one of his albums because it sounded familiar. So that one's pretty good. But I don't know. I predicted this will be the worst one since Jesus is King. Right now, it's there. But we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
Now that I think about it, I don't know how Jesus is King got released in that state. It's so horrible.
It's bad.
Like, compared to everything else he's put out. And if this is a first version and it's still better than Jesus is King, I don't know what went wrong there.
I'm surprised he didn't
hasn't
like
given
Pablo
any-
it and like alter it after the fact. Like he should have done that.
Yeah, that's surprising. He was still kind of on his like, here's 7 songs. It's
Yeah.
out kind of arc.
It was Jesus is the King only 7 songs.
I think it was 9 or something.
Oh, because like
But
a lot of the
Ye
songs
was
are really
7
short.
songs. Yeah.
There's
Ye was
11
7
songs.
and that was like the same thing. There's 11?
Yeah,
Oh, there's an intro and an outro though, which are kind of just gospel cuts. I
I
think.
guess. Yeah,
Oh, I really forgot about that. Okay.
yeah.
But I don't know. There's potential here. There's potential. Well, my favorite song, Kanye doesn't even have a verse on. So
Well, that
it's
sounds
got,
about
it's got
right.
Baby Keem and Migos on it, and it's really good.
Well, that sounds like a fun group if they're given good
It really is.
performances.
It's a fun group, and there's some horns on it, and it's pretty good.
Okay.
Issue is he's censoring stuff again though, and the
You
features to
coward.
uncensored verses. So the listening party version of that song is really good because you get the full verse without censoring, and then the album cuts like we're gonna censor this and completely like ruin the momentum.
Why?
Um,
Why do they keep
so
doing
that-
this?
I don't know. This is your Divorce Dad arc album, and the album doesn't speak of your mom at all. Just uncensor it, please.
Or don't even call it Donda. Like if it's not
Yeah,
going to be
please.
related to like your mom at all, then why?
No, the only way it's related is the aesthetic.
Yeah.
But the actual content of the record does not match it at all. The original Donda was in a indirect, direct way surrounded around that theme. This one I don't see it at all. This one I see is a divorced dad arc. I'm losing my way, which
Yeah.
is, what I'm getting here. But
Yeah.
we'll see. He
Very
hasn't talked
lame.
about what's coming next. If this is the final product, I'm gonna call it worse than Jesus is King, just because there's more potential here.
Yeah. I doubt it.
I doubt this is the final product.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see. I'm not following it too closely just because I'm not seeing the spark
Mm-hmm.
of the original Donda like I saw on that album and that rollout. Maybe I'm just sick of having to wait 2 weeks for another listening party and an album not to drop.
Yeah.
Maybe space it out like 5 years between doing antics like that. Maybe just drop a regular album for once. Just once. Got to break it up.
Yeah. I would rather him pull a Kendrick and just disappear for a minute and then come
Yeah.
back.
Well, that's what I loved about
holy.
Donda. Is like he sat down. He really went to work on it. He
Yeah.
had this whole process planned out. He didn't speak up or say anything. He just let
Yeah.
the music speak for itself. This one is the exact opposite.
It was nice not to have like a heavy-handed like controversy where he's just like, I hate black
Exactly.
people, and then people are like, can you believe that Kanye said he hates black people?
It was like, here's the music. We have a little Marilyn Manson.
Yeah,
and
the
Baby
Marilyn
situation.
Manson
Other than
thing,
that, it
yeah.
was pretty, safe.
Yeah.
And turned out really well. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to Five Yo's album next month because that's produced by Kanye, and
That'll probably be
I
better.
think that
than-
one's going to be really well.
Yeah.
Really well received. I'm very excited for that one. But enough of Donda 2.
I hate Donda too.
I'm not going to spend my life looking at that too much. Plus the rip that I got, that you can hear compression in the MP3. It's going to be hard to get lossless quality. This is a really stupid move to do the sim player thing.
I
At
thought
least
it was
make
on the
streaming
website.
service. It is, but you have to connect your stem player.
Oh.
So it's available, but it's not unless it's physically recognized by your computer. Someone did make like a GitHub app where it's like tricks the site into thinking you have a stem player. So I might do that because I'd like lossless quality. It's kind of hard hearing MP3s that sound like they were mastered in 2012.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Weekend next. I'm gonna talk about the weekend.
We'll talk about the weekend.
Yeah.
I guess speaking of this is a good performance. This isn't like a
Yes.
listening party. So the weekend has the worst timing ever. He's been talking about this thing he's doing with Amazon, the Dawn FM experience. This is tying in with his new album, and literally like a couple hours after Russia attacks Ukraine, the weekend sends out a tweet in all caps just saying "Let's go," referring to his new project that is going to be dropping the next day.
He also did the thing where he's like, "Look out for tomorrow," in like the world thing, speaking because he was gonna do tour dates the next day.
Oh no!
It just aged really bad. I feel really bad for him.
Yeah, it's just so funny because like
Bad time.
all of the comments are like, sweetie, you need to change this. And it's like, okay, he obviously is not like rooting, like it's
No,
not
yeah, it
what
was
he's
just badly
doing.
timed.
Yeah. But the experience came out on today, Saturday the
Yes.
26th.
Hey.
It came out. It's about half an hour long. I didn't really know exactly what it was going to be. He wasn't really clear on it. But it is just a like straight up performance of most of the songs on the album. Obviously you can't do, all of them through the whole thing. Otherwise that would be an hour long. But it's 30 minutes. He doesn't do either of the songs. So he doesn't do the Tyler song or the Lil Wayne song. I guess they just cut both of those. Doesn't even do his verse, but he does most of the other songs on there. And for the most part, it all just takes place in like one room, and it's just like him and a bunch of dancers. But the set design is like really cool. It's like almost like Blade Runner, where it's like, or like a RoboCop or something, where it's like,
I'm guessing it matches like the Amazon listening party the night it came out, where it's kind of like it's got those neon elements, but it's very like basic.
I don't know if I would necessarily say like
It's
neon.
like brutalist.
It's like future like sci-fi stuff, but it's like really dingy and dark and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
industrial.
Yeah, that matches. Then.
Yeah. I didn't see like the only lighting throughout the whole thing. There's like just like LED like light strips on the top. And then like they have this like industrial like vent fan behind. Oh, it's like 101. I don't remember his name.
10 Tricks Point Never.
10 Tricks Point Never.
It's a mouthful.
I know. But he's there and he's like mixing and playing the synths live. And they have like a big fan that has like the light shooting in through the back. So and there's like some smoke, so like you can see it. It's like really cool. So it's like very minimalist in terms of like set design, but like all of the people who are dancing are wearing like I guess like Mad Max style outfits, and they're just like dancing along, and he's in his like old man makeup, which looks really cool. Like it looks really good. Like his hands and stuff look like really wrinkled.
Yeah, I think they wear the same kind of outfits in the Take My Breath video.
See, I haven't seen any of the music videos. I'm a coward, but I did watch this today because I wanted to talk about it on the podcast. But I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, it isn't just like a listening party. He's actually like performing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he does have like sometimes he has like the backing, like the back tracks. I don't know what you call them. But like where it will have his like melody going, and then he just kind of like riffs and just like vocalizes along, which I really enjoy. Yeah, I really like that because he's such a talented vocalist. Just hearing him go off and do his own thing is really cool. But it's pretty good. I would recommend it. It's a good weekend performance, and it's free on Amazon Prime. So, might as well. If you're paying money to Jeff Bezos, then you can at least get a weekend performance out of the whole shindig.
True.
So, yeah, I don't know. There's not like a whole lot to talk about. It's just a good performance. So
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what he does for tour, since After Hours and Dawn FM have two very different like aesthetic, like like actual like looking aesthetic wise.
yeah, we'll
Very
have to
red
see.
to
It's
very
gonna have to do
blue.
some like show stuff.
Warm, cool stuff. Yeah,
I wonder if he's gonna do like Act 1 and then interlude and then Dawn FM.
I would
stuff.
imagine so. Yeah.
Or not interlude.
Set
but
design and that kind of thing. I think will be very cool.
I agree. I'm very
I'm sure
excited.
he's got big plans for that.
We are gonna go see that,
Yes.
right? Okay.
As long as we can get tickets.
We got the priority,
We do have priorities, so we should be fine.
so we should be good. We'll have to see.
Priority gang.
Yeah,
Priority
because
game.
we had tickets to see him already, and then he canceled it because he wanted to do both albums in the same tour, and he wanted to do stadiums only. Right? Like that was his reason. Yeah.
And the tickets weren't selling that well. Like we got tickets like way after the tour dates were announced, and like nobody was talking about it. So
Well, yeah, because After Hours had been out for a really long time.
yeah,
He wasn't hot.
so-
Now he's hot.
he was just like they didn't market it all. It was kind of like if it was even happening or not was kind of up in the air.
True.
Um,
I guess COVID stuff. Now it's
yeah.
less of a thing.
The
Yeah.
vid.
But that should be good. I have a lot to talk about still. Let's keep in
talking.
performance zone then. I saw Tyler the Creator on the Call Me If You Get Lost tour this week, which was an amazing show.
Was it better or worse than Lucy Dacus?
I don't even know if you can compare the two. One had a boat that would move physically through the crowd, and one was like a couch,
She
like
was
chill lounge show.
sleeping.
So, I mean, Lucy's was still very good, but like, this is a much bigger budget, like Travis Scott Astroworld style, like.
Well, maybe
production
don't
value.
compare it to that.
Well, not festival, the physical Astroworld tour.
Okay.
The physical Astroworld tour had a roller coaster.
Oh, that's fun. Could you
yeah.
ride it?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
But that's different from the festival. The festivals are all about that.
Yeah.
But this was, I think, like a 4-hour concert. It was a very long show. We got there at 6. The show started at 7, and we got out about like 11:15.
Wow.
So it was a very long concert. We got in the merch line right away. So
Did you
easy
get golf
10 minutes in.
wang?
I did get a golf wang hat.
There you go.
So we're chilling. But we had some openers: Tizo Touchdown, Vince Staples, and Kelly Uchis. They all had their own stage setup. They each got like 20 or 30 minutes too, which is longer than most opening acts get.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty good.
He really actually like let them go, which is good because they're all like artists that have, besides Tizo, like pretty thought out catalogs at this point. So it'd be kind of weird to cut it short.
Yeah.
But Tizo doesn't have an album out yet, but he was playing through some of his hits. He's got this like Home Depot, like home improvement kind of like aesthetic going through the new album. So he did like a home improvement skit kind of for his whole thing, which
Did
is
he
kind of
get
cool.
Tim
Tizo's
Allen?
he got a Tim Allen like character to be like his co-host, so they were kind of going back and forth.
That's kind of fun.
So it was pretty cool. He's a very interesting artist. I'm not too keen on his music yet. He's got a lot of room to grow, but like in terms of creativity, he's definitely there.
Yeah.
I think a little mentoring, and he'll be a big thing. I've kind of put him in this Lil Nas X territory, like pre-7, where he's
Sure.
kind of got like that novelty thing going. But like once he really nails it down, he'll be like really set because he's got a really great voice and he sounds pretty good live.
Mm-hmm.
That part was cool. Vince Staples was next. Vince Staples was amazing. That's what I was looking forward to the most besides the main event. The stage was laid out like it's a runway thing. I think that's how they do it in most arenas. So like you have room to go. But Tizo was on the main stage. Vince was on the opposite side, so he was pretty close to us.
Mm-hmm.
He was just on top of like kind of like the roof of a greenhouse looking thing where there's like those panel windows.
Oh yeah.
But there was smoke machines and lights underneath him and on top of him. So it was like kind of a light show kind of, and he was just on top of it, which was really cool. But he was really close to us. his self-titled album's so short, it's like 25 minutes, that he was able to play through the whole thing, plus get
Oh.
like 4 or 5 more songs out of it. So
That's cool.
he
I know
did
you
really
like that
good.
album.
Yes, that album is fantastic. And the new one's coming out in April, I believe, which is like the sister album to that one. So that's going to be very good as well. But he went through all that. It was awesome. He played some of the hits from his last albums, which go a lot harder than like the new album. And that did really well. I'm very surprised by his breath control. He did not miss a beat. It's always a hit or miss when you're going to rap shows. If the backtracking is going to do more of the work than the artist or whatever. But
Yeah.
zero backtracking. He did all of it. Didn't miss anything. And he did it for 35 to 40 minutes. So
There you go. Good on you,
Very
Vince
good.
Staples.
yes, I would definitely pay to see a show of him like as the headline. But he did really good. Kelly Uchis probably had the most fans out of Hot Opener. People went absolutely insane for her. Which I kind of expected, but kind of not. I expected Vince Staples to get more of a pull, but I also know that Vince Staples isn't like, he's a mainstream artist, but he's not like someone that pulls as many people.
Yeah.
But Kelly Uchis had a giant screen and choreographed dancers for her opening set. These are opening sets, and they have like very specific, like hammered down, like visuals and everything to go along with it. Which was really good. I don't really know a lot of her solo music. I just know her feature things. But she's a very good singer. Set was pretty good. I can't pick out songs because I didn't really know them. It's hard to, if you're at live shows and you hear new songs that you haven't heard, you don't remember them.
Yeah.
It's just kind of part of the experience. But she had a very fluid set, so there's a lot of like very cool synth outros and things that'll flow into each other. So it's a very seamless thing. That was really good. But that was good. Then there was like 30 minutes of setup for Tyler's because it's a very intricate set. But it started. He rose out of the ground in a Rolls Royce, the same one from like the lumberjack video or whatever.
Yeah.
So it physically came out of the ground. There was like a giant screen that rose up, and like the physical, like he had a whole set of a physical house that you could walk on and in and up the stairs and everything. So there was that. He played through like first 5 or 6 on Call Me If You Get Lost. They all kind of flow into each other, especially with like the features. You can go through a lot of those because the features weren't there, obviously. So those were all awesome. Those mixes sound so much better in person. That's one of those where it's like you have a mixtape feel on your album, so it sounds so good, like played blown out through speakers.
Yeah.
The whole arena was kind of shaking just because like the mix on that was so good. You could like feel the bass and everything. We were like on the top row, so you could hear chairs behind us rattling that were like propped against the wall and stuff. But he also performs very well. Again, he's got like a whole choreographed set down where he's walking around up down the house, and he's still rapping all of his verses. Then a boat comes out from the ground, and there's a physical boat that like goes from one end of the arena to the other, between the crowd. So he was literally on the boat doing his set. He did What's Your Name on there, and then like whatever that long reggae song is, I forgot the name of it. But he did those on there. He kept in Young Boy's feature, which was good. Some of the features he kept in, because then the crowd would just do the whole feature.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is good. And for the good ones. He did that with Playboy Cardi too. So
Perfect.
you got it. It's good features.
Yeah.
But yeah, the boat was super cool. And then the other end of the arena was like a safari. So there was like grass in the ground and the whole lights show and everything. Played through a lot of Flower Boy stuff. He did a medley of all pre-2017 stuff. So he didn't like take time for each song. He like combined them all into a mashup, which was really, really good. He did some like 2011 stuff. I think he went from one point from like, he did She with Frank Ocean into Yonkers and then into Bimmer, which is like an insane 3 set to go like back to back. And he made them all transition into each other. He did a lot of like making bridges to go between sections because, I mean, Tyler loves making bridges. That's what he does the best. The man will make a bridge with a piano and a synth, like on any song that he can make. So he did stuff specifically for that for live shows, which was really great. Then he did some Igor stuff, and Igor stuff is like the best stuff. It's the best album. Really, really great stuff there. He did Who Dat Boy, which was really, really good. So they did the ASAP Rocky feature, but so the house has windows, so they had him record like his performance in the window, and they silhouetted it, so it seemed like he was actually there doing his verse.
Oh,
And you like switch windows in the house and stuff.
that's
really
cool.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
But there's pyrotechnics. There was like, I don't know what you call it, when there's like those firecracker lights that'll like drop from
Can't
the
say
ceiling.
that.
Yeah. And I think he did that during Earthquake. He had like this whole like wall of fireworks come down and stuff. So definitely the most intricate live show I've ever been to, and the music like lived up to that as well. So
Yeah, he's
Really
definitely a
insane.
showsman.
yeah, he's taken the Kanye crown at this point for just like overall creativity and live performance, aesthetic, music video, album concepts, all of that. He's kind of like the next coming of that. But yeah, that was insane live show. If you have not had the chance to see him and there's still tickets in your area, go ahead.
I
Go
wonder
do
if there's
it.
tickets in my area.
Probably
I don't even know
not.
if he comes to you guys or not.
Probably not.
Oh, of course.
I wouldn't imagine so. It's a stadium tour.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was probably Bab Jab's best concert. That was the most I've seen him into a concert. Obviously,
Yeah.
this is Tyler the Creator.
He's a big Tyler man.
Yeah, but insane show. I would definitely put it like at my top concerts as well. Yeah, I'm definitely down for that big budget kind of style. So I'm excited for the After Hours Till Dawn tour, because that
Yeah.
stuff will be really good, I think.
It's probably gonna be similar. That
Yeah, I'm sure in scope it'll be similar and everything.
Yeah.
Because Abel's also a very good performer, and
like his
like
whole
set
shtick.
designer and everything. So
Yeah.
I'm down for that, definitely.
Mhm.
But that was like, a half an hour performance talk. I didn't even got to the music yet.
Wow.
A lot of live performances this week. Start with Peggy. Peggy, absolute legend. He is now completely free of any label stuff, so he took it into his own hands. He cleared his own samples for LP. Hazard
Oh.
Duty Pay is now on Spotify, as well as the other offline tracks that weren't. He cleared all the samples with his own money and put them up.
So we can listen
So
to
we
the
can do
album now.
offline in its true glory, minus a
Awesome.
couple transitions things, but we will mostly be able to do that. So you just saved us, Peggy. I
Great.
appreciate you so much. So we can do that now without having to go through weird hoops. He also put the Thoughts Prayer updated mix on Spotify, which thank God. That song is not good on the online version. It's not his fault either. It was just they completely cut out the sample from that song, so it feels really empty. But now that it's the offline version, I can like it again. So we're saved for our reaction video,
Epic.
because that will be our next viewer reaction. So we have the full true format now. So
That's great.
man said he's going on a break and he's still working. I think he's remastering the Ghost Pop tape too, which is like from 2013. It's like a vaporwave album. That's where the Call Me Maybe cover comes from. So
Of course.
he's doing that as well. So he never stops working, I guess.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. I'm glad he's got his own rights now to everything, and that he truly cares. I mean, most people wouldn't do this, buy their own samples to put them on the streaming services
No.
after. But I'm very glad he did. I hope Hazard Duty Pay still gets the attention. It looks like it is. It's got 500,000 plays already. Because that song will be his biggest song, especially if it would have came out like in the original album format, it would probably be his most popular at this point, because that song could be just like an absolute hit. So hopefully that gets recognition, because it's insane. But moving on from there, Denzel Curry, another track from the new album, featuring Slow Tie. I don't know how to say it. It's like Zatoichi or something.
I don't know.
I don't know, but it's got more of like a drum and bass like feel. Very good as well. This new album's gonna be sick. He's got his concept on. He's
Is he
back,
sticking
new
with
style.
the like Japanese
Yeah, the cover art's still pretty cool.
epic?
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this. He doesn't miss. Album time. Earth Gang.
Oh,
Earth Gang came out, and a
wow.
month and a half late, it came out. Ghetto Gods. It is very good. I was a little concerned, just because I didn't like. I didn't not like the two singles, but they were a little like I don't get the whole. I didn't get the whole picture of them. They felt pretty basic, but now that I have the whole album, I like them a lot more. But I would say a little bit better than Mirrorland, just because there were some tracks on Mirrorland that really just didn't work, and were a little bit, because that album was a lot more psychedelic than this one. It was a lot more like, that's where the Outkast comparison started and ended. It's kind of like, okay, psychedelic rap with two people. One has like really solid verses, and one has a very eccentric personality and voice. That's definitely not Outkast. Plus, they're from Atlanta. It's like you can see where the comparisons line up.
Yeah.
But this one settles a lot more into like a contemporary Atlanta rap and R&B style. So something you'd hear from a Black is kind of what, like mixing wise and production wise, is kind of what you get here more, which I think works for them really well. But I didn't expect the sheer amount of bangers that we were gonna get here, because a lot of these songs just like go so hard. I was listening to this on the drive over to go see the concert, and man, the bass on these things are awesome. The energy's there. I was concerned until I started listening to it. I'm like, wow, they've really like stepped up, because there was a lot of awkward parts on Mirrorland where they didn't feel like they knew how to like transition properly. But this, it feels tight knit. It's awesome. Waterboys with Jid and J. Cole's awesome. I feel like it's hard to mess up a song when you got those two on it, but that's fantastic. Bailey with Future's great. Couple of gospel cuts, couple R&B cuts. Mirrorland was a lot more psychedelic and stuff. This was grounded in a concept of classism and just racism in general, systematic racism, all these kind of things. They hammer down on it, make a very consistent album about it. It's very deep, but it's not like bang over the head deep. It's not super concept rich, but it still comes through in the music. Power with CeeLo and Nick Cannon's strange. I don't know if I like it.
But it's CeeLo.
CeeLo raps on it.
Oh. Oh, that's a shocker.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting. I don't know if I like it yet. I'm undecided. Thankfully, Nick Cannon just does like a spoken word thing and doesn't do a verse. I don't know if I can handle a Nick Cannon verse. Might be a little bit too much for me, but definitely recommend. Again, it's got more of the Saba style, of very warm and inviting hip hop that still goes pretty hard on some tracks. So I think this one on Saba, I'm going to put level with each other. They're both very good. Hip hop was majorly lacking this year. My top three had zero hip hop for a long time. It still doesn't. But like this one and Saba are definitely getting up there. Have some good hip hop releases. And Conway dropped his album God Don't Make Mistakes. This one's been teased for a long time as well. I think I still like From King to a God more, but some of the highlights on here are pretty good. Definitely a lot more zoned in on a specific sound. From King to a God kind of went all over the place. But you got features from Rick Ross and Lil Wayne. Got, I guess these are more Griselda features. You got T.I. So a couple big budget features. But overall pretty good. I mean, it's a Griselda project. There's a certain level of quality you get with these things where I can't really talk about them more, because like that level of quality is always met. Like, it's fantastic. East Coast, like grimy hip hop. It's just good. But a lot more personal themes. I think final track was really great. Talks about, because he got shot in like his face like a while back, and he had surgery for it and everything. So now when he raps, you can kind of like tell he had like facial reconstruction surgery and stuff. So he talks about that on the last track, which is really good. And then the first track, he has Beanie Siegel featured, who was actually in the Genius documentary this week. So he's a deep cut guy from Def Jam, from like the 2004 era. But apparently he got shot and got a punctured lung. So now he's recovered from that And now he's rapping on a track with the guy who's got shot in his face. There's like a little bit of a level there that's really great. So a lot of cool, intricate things going on here. Production's fantastic. A grimy Griselda piano beat is just all I need usually. That's what you get here. So pretty good. Yeah, it's nothing like too crazy, at least not yet. It might grow on me more, but I think Earthgang takes it this week for best album. But yeah, I don't know what we have coming up. I do need a JIT album. Now that Earthgang's gone, Dreamville, you got one man that's been like teasing us for like 3 years who needs to drop. Because even just hearing him on a feature in Earthgang, I'm like, JIT is just so much better than everybody else. It's kind of insane. So please, he needs to be next up. This needs to happen. Other than that, I haven't been paying attention to release dates. Things just kind of come out as they come out, which is fine with me. This year's already kind of stacked, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it started out with a bang, and it just keeps on coming.
Exactly. You got After or Dawn FM like first week, and then after that, it just kept going.
I know. I kind of felt bad because in our interview with Jake, he was like, "What is your most anticipated of the year?" And I'm like, well, if the Weeknd decides to drop, that would be pretty cool. And Weeknd dropped before that podcast came out.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, that's unfortunate, but that's okay. I should have said Kendrick, because then that wouldn't have happened before.
That's true, and then it'll never happen.
Yeah.
But we do know that's coming out before June, or in June.
We'll see.
That is, I'm gonna say like 90% confirmed. I don't know at this point. It's just, there's an Italy festival where he's playing new songs. So we'll at least have new songs by June.
Maybe not a whole project.
Maybe not a whole project, but I'd assume it'd be pretty close.
Maybe like an
that.
EP or something.
No, it's got to be an album. No way you're dropping an EP.
You don't think he's gonna drop?
Kill him, dude.
I saw
No.
like
You would get murdered if he dropped an EP.
I saw some comments on our Kendrick video where it was like, I hope that he just kind of does another B-side thing for his last album with Top Dog, and then he like really like he does a Blonde thing where he does like Endless with Def Jam and then does his big.
That could work. Yeah,
Which, I mean, he could do that.
he could.
So I don't know, maybe.
It's possible. I mean, but you have to come out with a bang. You've been gone for too long, and people have extremely high expectations for you.
I mean, I feel
pressure.
like there's a little bit like, you know, a little bit of that has been satiated with his stuff with Baby Keem and his Super Bowl performance. Like, he's back.
But that's not like Kendrick.
No,
you know?
no, it's not
Like,
like
you'll know it when it's a Kendrick track.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a different energy around all of it.
that's true. But I mean, he's not like he's not gone. Like, he's still kind of in the ether where it's like
Yeah, no, he's kind of poked his head out a little bit, but he's still not here.
he's not here. He hasn't dropped in a while.
The real stuff.
Yeah.
But
Well,
excited for that. That'll be, we'll at least be hearing new material by June.
Hopefully.
Ben Staples, I think, comes out in April. I thought I saw that somewhere. That could be not confirmed, but that should be coming out this spring. 100 Gex should be dropping soon. They said early 2022. It is early 2022. So that'd be cool. What else we got? Pusha T. Hopefully that comes out sooner than later. This new single's cool, but I need the whole thing. 5 Yo's coming out next month. I still haven't gotten to the Beach House record. I want to do that eventually, but it's like an hour and a half long. Sorry.
Sorry.
I think that's it. Yeah, that's a lot. It was a big week. I don't think next week will be as big unless something huge drops out of nowhere.
I don't know. I don't know if like what's gonna happen next week. The only thing that I know is that I'm gonna be talking about Batman very briefly, because it's spoiler free. But like aside from that, like we don't have any like release dates or like big conferences like we have in the past where it's like we know there's going to be a Nintendo Direct, so that's going to take up a chunk of the show. So
Yeah, we'll find something.
there's going to be
Fill time.
something. It just might be a little shorter.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say that now, and then next week is going to be 2.5 hours.
It could be.
It could very well be.
Is it-
I don't know. That's how it always is. I'm always like, this is going to be a short one, and then it's very long. Like this one is an hour and a half long.
Yeah,
So
I
far.
had a lot of stuff though.
Yeah, you did. I'm glad because I didn't have a whole lot. So, is that podcast?
I think that's podcast.
3.
Oh, we don't end like that anymore.
Dang it.
You're such a rookie. We have a bit now.
Oh, of course you do.
Yeah, because we're fun guys. We like to have fun. Although sometimes, like, I forget how to do a podcast. Sometimes my finger slips. Sometimes I hit the stop button prematurely, and, it's very unfortunate. But that won't happen. Today we're going to finish the bit. So, I forgot what the bit was, though.
Yeah, you didn't really specify what the bit was.
Well, like...
So we haven't started it yet. You're just wanting to start the bit.
Sometimes, like, I have to do, like, all the legwork. So I was just like... maybe you guys have a bit
I did
ready.
legwork this week, so
That's true. Man, this is too much work.
I don't know what it is, so it's all on you, my guy.
Podcast.